my name is Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming my bookshelf tour. These behind me are my bookshelves. They are the Billy bookshelves from IKEA, and they're filled with a bunch of books that I either have not read or I have read and loved and wanted to keep on my shelves as my collection. Also, in front of me I have two floating shelves that have some more books on them as well. So this is my first time filming a bookshelf tour, but I have watched quite a few, and so from what I've seen is there are a few different types of bookshelf tours. There's some where the person goes through every single book on their shelf, and there's some where they only highlight a few books. And I think in this video, I'm not going to go through every single book on my shelf. I'm just going to highlight a few books on each shelf that I either really love or books that I really want to read. And I also have a lot of different decorations on my shelves too that I'm going to talk about and share about. I'm really excited to get to this video. This is one video I was really looking forward to filming since starting my YouTube channel, and especially since getting my new bookcases. I had two bookcases, but then for my birthday this year I got one more bookcase and had it set up like this. My brother actually set it up for me, my older brother, so I'm really thankful to him that he was able to come over and help me. My books are organized in genre, and within the genre they're organized alphabetically by last name. So I'm really excited to get into this. Let's just dive right in, and I really hope that you enjoy my bookshelf tour. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the first two shelves. Well, the top shelf, of course, is not books. It is just some items. So I have this little bird I got from the dollar spot at Target. I have this old camera, a painting by my good friend Sarah, and a candle holder and a little card with dried flowers on it. The second shelf, I have a few items here. So I have this candlestick, this little thimble that I got a long time ago from my dad from New York, little card that my aunt gave me for my graduation. These are really cute. I think they're from, I'm not sure where, but she went to Europe this year and she brought back some of these cards. And I have my little, I just want to sip coffee and pet my dog, this little forget-me-not, and a little jar with my really cool bookmark my aunt got me from Portugal. It's cork, made out of cork. Okay, so on this shelf I have my mystery thriller type books, and then I have the start of my fantasy collection. So here I have, there's quite a few, some noted. I really liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read this earlier this year. I thought it was really good. I'm really excited for the show that's coming out that BBC is doing. And then one of my favorite books of all time has got to be Avalon High by Meg Cabot. It's a King Arthur retelling. It's really fun. I really love it. I've read this several times. Highly recommend it. Okay, the next shelf down. First I have this pumpkin bourbon candle, woodwick candle. Another one of those postcards from my aunt, and then another brass candle holder. So this is continuation of my fantasy shelf. Let's see, I have quite a few. So of course I have my The Way of Kings that I really want to read this year that I have not gotten to yet, but hopefully I will continue it. A fantasy, spooky fantasy I enjoyed, and I can't wait for the second one, is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This one has really great atmosphere, really creepy, and the cover is also really gorgeous. I also have Babel by R.F. Kuang. I got the UK edition. I really like this cover a lot. Hopefully I want to read this soon, but I'm just really glad that I have it in my collection. Okay, sorry if the angle's a little wonky. So first of all, I have, starting out with my knickknacks on my shelf, I have this cute little mouse statue that my Aunt Sophia got me for my birthday, or for my graduation this year. I also have this really pretty hair accessory that brought back from Korea. My family visited in 2018. A cinnamon spice candle. Another candlestick holder. This one is kind of Moroccan themed, Moroccan style, my cousin gave me. And then this little tiny container. Okay, so this shelf is my religious section. I have some devotionals here. This book I got for Christmas one year from my cousin. It's Art and Faith, by Makoto Fujimura, which is this Christian artist that I really love. He also writes books. I have quite a few books from C.S. Lewis. I really love his nonfiction. This one's really good if you want to read a book that delves deep into the Christian faith. I really recommend Mere Christianity. This is another book of his that I really like. I read it after a year or so after my dad passed, and actually has one of my favorite quotes. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, "No one ever told me that grief felt so like fear." It's just really beautiful. Very moving book. And then I have some, I really am into reading books about art and faith. So I have some really great books that delve into like Christian artists. This one I really love. It's a collection of essays about art in the church and the importance of arts in the church. And then this is probably one of my favorite devotionals. It's really, I've read it a few times, and it's just devotionals that are made for, well, it says here, Bible studies to nurture the creative spirit within. Okay, the next two shelves, I'll just point down at both of them. So I have my shelf of notebooks. This one here is really special to me. When I was in South Korea, I got this book and I did a bunch of different entries in it. I got to go to the pop-up Stranger Things experience in Seoul, which was really cool. Did a bunch of different just different journal entries, and yeah, it was definitely it's definitely an important book. I did a Harry Styles, because I was introduced to Harry Styles when I was in Korea. This is one of my favorites I did. It's the Sunflower by Harry Styles, and I really love that song, so I did a spread about that. So I have a ton of notebooks. I am a notebook collector. And then down below here, which is kind of hard to see, we have a collection of different books. I have Korean language books, because I'm always trying to learn Korean. Some different books about like writing, making books. I took a bookmaking class when I was doing my undergrad, and I really love bookmaking. So I have some bookmaking books, different books about some of my favorite artists. So Monet is like my favorite artist, so I have books for him. And then also another artist I love is Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, however you say it. But yeah, so I have lots of different art books that I've collected over the years, and that's my last bottom shelf. I'm sorry this is such a bad angle, but hopefully you'll be able to see kind of what I have up here. So first I have a few mementos, knickknacks. I have this little photography dude that has a piece of cheese with him. I have this really cool 3D printed rook statue that I won during a rook match during our church's combined meetings in Wood Lake. I thought that was pretty cool. This is a shell from, I want to say, I forget what it was from, a mussel, but it was abalone. So when I was in Korea for a year in 2020 or 2019. I was able to go on a Chuseok, which is Chuseok is basically essentially Korean Thanksgiving. And so my friend invited me to come with her and her mom on a trip, and I was able to go to her hometown and went to her mom's house. And her mom made this really delicious seafood stew, so I asked if I could have one of these shells as a memento, so I brought it home with me. Alright, up here, can't really see very well, but I have several different paperbacks. I have some of the Redwall series and Agatha Christie. One of my favorite editions books I own is this one Agatha Christie book that it was originally titled Sparkling Cyanide, but it's titled Remember Death, and I just really love martini glass. I want to say that's a martini glass, and it's a really cool like old cover I really love. So that's it for that shelf right there. Going down one space below, I have my little turtle I got in Puerto Vallarta a number of years ago. Another one of these cute little cards with dried flowers, candle. So this is my original set of Harry Potter that each one I got as they were releasing. I really love this set because it's, you know, my childhood essentially is in this shelf. But yeah, so I have all of the US editions. So this next shelf is my green shelf. I have this cute little glass rooster container. This little guy is something I got when I was in South Korea. There's this artist there. I can't remember the name of the artist, but they make these little guys when they have a little plant on top of their head. I just thought it was so cute and tiny, so I had to get one and bring him back with me. He resides on my shelf. And then this cup here I got from one of the ladies at my church. She gave it to me after a tea party we were having, and I just really love it. So this kind of inspired my green shelf. So I made this a green shelf because I really like the color green too as well, but definitely for the purpose of that cup kind of goes with it. But some notable ones on the shelf. This one, my aunt brought it back for me from when she was in Europe. There's this, the world's most beautiful bookshop. I think it's called Livraria Lello. It's actually where they filmed, I believe, Dumbledore's office in Harry Potter. So she brought back this book from that bookstore. It's really cool. And then one of my favorite books of all time is The Giver. And I really wanted to own it in Korean, because Korean is a language that I really want to learn. And so I was able to pick up this edition of The Giver in Korean. And I'm so excited that I was able to get this, because I just love The Giver and I really love the Korean language. And so a goal of mine is, I don't know if it'll ever happen, a goal of mine is to be able to read this book in Korean. And then I have one of the most beautiful editions of books I own is this edition of The Very Giant, signed first edition by Kazuo Ishiguro. I read it for a class. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but I would like to reread it, because usually when I read books for classes, I don't always enjoy them. I don't know why it is that way. Let me know in the comments if that happens to you. But I really love this edition, and I'm like, you know, even if I don't like this book that much, I really want to keep this because I've never owned a signed first edition before, and it's just such a beautiful book. I just love it so much, so it'll reside on my shelf in this section. My next shelf that I have in my bookcase is my collection of K-pop and some also soundtracks. One of my favorite Korean singers is Yoonha, so I have a few of her CDs. And let's see, what else do I have on here? This one actually, this is from the show, I forget the name of it. This is kind of like one of those shows that you never really hear anyone talk about, but I really love this show a lot. I think it's called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a really good show. It has Yuna. I think it's Yuna. That's her name. This, oh, one of my favorite K-dramas, City Hunter. I got the soundtrack to that. Oh, and then this is really cool. This is a photo essay book on the K-drama While You Were Sleeping. So this is a really cool book. It has like pictures in it, some writing. Oh yeah. This is such a good K-drama. Oh, one thing too, another one that I really, that's such a beautiful album is Faces of Love by Susie. I just love the design of it. And I just love like the images and stuff. So pretty. I also have behind my Rescue album, you know how Rescue album is my pumpkin carving candle from Bath and Body Works. And this is actually not actually a CD, but this is something I designed in a class I took a few years ago. It's a CD design, so I designed this. I thought it was pretty cool. So that's my Korean shelf. Next shelf down is continuation of my mass market paperbacks. I have quite a few. I have quite a few books here. This one I found actually. I've been wanting to read The Fellowship of the Ring for a long time. The Lord of the Rings for a really long time. And I was actually subbing at a school, and they had one of those carts that you would see sometimes in libraries, free books that you can take. And I found this edition of The Fellowship of the Ring, and I asked the librarian if I could have it, and she said I could. And I just think it's a really cool edition. So it's there. One of my favorite books of all time, which is another one I've read which I've read a lot of times, is A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. The movie is really good, but the book, I highly recommend the book if you haven't had a chance to read it. It's very sad, of course. It's just as sad as the movie. Maybe even sadder than the movie. But I really love the book a lot. And I just love this cover. This is like the only movie poster cover I would ever want. Which is actually technically not a movie poster if you really think about it. But I love that they're on the cover of this edition. And then I have some Brandon Sanderson and Tamara Pierce. And of course Katie Oliver, her A Parrot Rhyme Prejudice and Peril and a Murderous Persuasion. And The Giver. And then I'm not going to take a lot of time on this, but if you look down below it, is a bunch of photo albums that I have at the bottom shelf. Okay, so now we're on my last bookcase. I have at the top a few items. I have an old camera. This camera I got when I was a little girl. Birthday card that my grandpa gave me when I was 10. A candle, a little jar with my name on it, and another vintage camera, Brownie Hawkeye. Coming down to this shelf right below, I got cinnamon caramel swirl candle, little teddy bear I've had since I was a little girl. This cute little cup saucer that I found at the thrift store. I've been kind of inspired to collect green teacups ever since I got that one from my friend. This cute little peacock, glass blown peacock that I got a long time ago at Marine World or Six Flags. And then this little jar that I made in pottery class with some dried flowers. So for the books on this shelf, I'm continuing in my fantasy. So I have fantasy, this book from my childhood, Leanna and Monet's Garden. Kind of sparked my love of Monet. I have a graphic novel, and then I have some middle grade. So this one graphic novel is one of my favorites that I read this year. This was our pact. And let's see what else is there that I really love. This series I highly recommend. It's a really fun middle grade series about this girl who finds out that she gets invited to this hotel or sent to this hotel, and she finds out all these different things about her that she didn't realize. She has like a power, and it's just really cool. Books I would like to read. I really hopefully read The Halloween Moon this year during Halloween. I got this last year, but I didn't ever end up reading it. I really actually am interested in reading Leviathan by Scott Westerfield. This is a steampunk novel, young adult novel. I've never read anything by Scott Westerfield, but I think this one actually sounds really cool. So, I mean, there's so many different books on the shelf I haven't read yet that I hope to get to at some point in time, but I really like my middle grade selection. I like collecting middle grade books. Okay, so that's it for this shelf. Okay, my next shelf is more middle grade. So I have first my items I have on my shelf. This candle holder has this little candle that's actually a honey candle I got from my friend Betty. Got these little animals I've had for so long. I don't even know how long I've had them. Since I was a little girl. Another candle. This little lantern that I keep on my shelf all the time. And I actually got it for Halloween, but I like it the way it looks. And then this mug, actually, this year on my birthday, I went out to the thrift store and I found this mug that is actually from the San Francisco Marathon in July 20th, 1986, which that's the year I was born, 1986. So that was kind of cool. And then some fans that I have. This bookshelf, I have some of the Keeper of Lost Cities books. This book, Wildwood by Colin Meloy and illustrated by Carson Ellis, is a book that I've been wanting to read. I got it for middle grade March, but I never read it. But I just think it sounds like a really cool book, really cool story. Of course, this is one of my favorite books of all time, Monster Calls. I read this actually less than a year after my father passed, and it just really resonated with me. I felt some of the same things that he felt in the story, and so I really love this book a lot. One of my favorites. This is a first edition of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix that I found at a thrift store in Portland, Oregon. So I got it. I really love this cover, and it's cool to own a first edition of Harry Potter. And this is one of my favorite graphic novel series. I love the art style. The Girl from the Other Side. And there's a lot more books on here that I haven't read, but I really love this shelf a lot. Next shelf I have is my collection of some classics and my nonfiction. I have a candle holder. It goes with the other candle holder. It's a matching set. This little giraffe figurine. A thimble from Minnesota. Old Argus camera. Little votive candle holder with my name on it. This really cute koala calendar. This is a print I made of one of Alfred Stieglitz's one of his photographs. And this really cute little book stop that has some dried flowers in it. Okay, so I have some classics I really want to read. So I have Northanger Abbey, which is one that I would really like to read someday. Oh, this one. I love the mini-series that they did of North and South. So I really wanted to read the book. So hopefully someday I'll get to this one. I have a large collection of Bill Bryson's books because I really love his writing. I haven't read any of them. I've only read one. But ever since reading I'm a Stranger Here myself for a class, I've just been like collecting Bill Bryson's books. So I just have so many of his stories. And then this one I really want to get to some point in time, Crying H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Books that involve grief. I have a fascination with reading books like that, just to kind of, going through my own grief that I've had experienced, losing my father and other family members. I just, you know, grief is such an important topic, so I really like to read books that kind of deal with that topic of grief, themes of grief. So I got this when it came out. I'm going to go to my last two shelves this tour. The second to last shelf here is just books that I'm going to get rid of that I just haven't had a chance to sell on my Pango Books. But yeah, so these are some books that I just I'm trying to get rid of, but I just kept on my shelf just to have them, you know, not in any kind of, I just keep them on my shelf until I'm able to sell them. And the last shelf down below, just kind of hard to see. So this has like books that are my children's books, some books on teaching, education, a few cookbooks, some like old magazines, kinfolk magazines, word searches, just a bunch of random things. And then my records that I own. Which, one that I own I haven't actually listened to yet, which I thought was pretty cool, is the Doctor Who City of Death. I got this a long time ago when I first got my record player. But this is a story, you know, you can listen to. I gotta get to this one soon. My last two places with books is first I have my floating shelf. Sorry, it's not going to be a very good angle. On this floating shelf I have my Funko Pop TARDIS, a few little Lego Harry Potter and Ron my nephew made me, little Funko Pop Harry, and my little lumberjack Lego piece, and a vintage camera. And this on the shelf is my Harry Potter books that are the UK editions that I got when I was in South Korea. So I have all of them. And these ones I really like because I love my old ones I've had for forever. But these ones, let me get one out, have really beautiful like illustrated covers. And so I really love the illustrated covers on these books. They're really beautiful, and even on the back there's like, and then there's gold foiling, so it sparkles. Really beautiful editions of Harry Potter. And the final shelf of my bookshelf tour is another floating shelf I have in my room. So I have two Funko Pops. I have my 12th Doctor Funko Pop. He's my favorite, well, one of my favorite doctors from Doctor Who. And then my Zelena Funko Pop from Once Upon a Time. She's my favorite character on Once Upon a Time. I love that Funko Pop. And then this one has just quite a few books that I'm interested in that I just thought looked really nice together. So I have The Magical Language of Others, which is a nonfiction book about a mother writing to her daughter from Korea. The Ones We're Meant to Find, which is a book about a girl who can't remember anything except she remembers that she has a sister and that she has to find her. And yeah, so I Daughter of the Moon Goddess, Winter's Promise, Rush of Wings. These are just some books that I bought. I got these two for Christmas gifts. This one I bought, and I bought those two. But I just put them together because these are books that I really would like to read at some point. And I actually don't really know what my thought process is, why they're together, but I thought that they looked good together, so I put them here with my Funko Pops. And that's my last shelf. That's my bookshelf tour. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for everyone that has been watching my videos and have subscribed to my channel. I know I haven't really been posting recently, but I hope to just dive back into it and continue posting more. But yeah, this is my bookshelf tour. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good day.